Previously on Round Sailing, we sailed south on the Inside Passage in British Columbia to the First Nation village Hartley Bay. In Bishop Bay we had humpback whales as neighbors, got engine problems and soaked up in another hot spring.
We'd left Bishop Bay and the curious humpback whales, and we're heading south on the Princess Royal Channel.
They were looking at our boat. They liked the lines, so they wanted to hear what type of model it was. So most of these buildings were destroyed in '99 because there was a lot of snow that year. So I guess the roofs collapsed under the weight of the snow, and after that I guess you can see the excavator up there. They have started to probably tear down a building that was over there, and I don't know if they're going to repair all the buildings or are they just going to tear it down and build something new here. Yeah, Butale used to be a convenient stop for fuel, but now there's nothing. I don't know, there seems to be some people living here in tents. I don't know if that's the workers that are doing the job here with the excavator, or if it's just people that are out hiking.
Pretty depressive place. This was a big cannery. This island is called Princess Royal Island. It's a huge island, and on this island you can find the spirit bears. It's a black bear, but their fur is like very bright, like maybe not white but bright, and can be different kinds of shades. And they live here on this island. So I've been looking all day. I haven't seen any, but there haven't been any shoreline so far, just rocks down to the water. It would be really cool to see one. They say that if you see a spirit bear, it brings luck. It's nice to just be looking everywhere all the time and smell the smells of these trees. Grannar, as we call them in Swedish. And now I'm gonna change course. It's going fast, 7.4 knots, 7.5, yes! We have the current with us.
We're on our way into Coots Inlet. It's pretty far in here, but there's supposed to be a really nice waterfall in here, so that's why we're heading here. No sailing today, it's been motoring the whole day. Amazing place, this the mountain sides here that go straight down into the sea, and it's like 250 meters deep here, even if it's really narrow, the fjord. So quite special here. So I suppose the waterfall will be just around the corner here. It's about a mile left to the anchorage.
Both Alaska and British Columbia surprises one with the great distances. When leaving a channel to go into an inlet, it can often take an hour to reach the anchorage. From the channel to the anchorage in Coots Inlet, it was 5 nautical miles.
So we're leaving Coots Inlet. It was a quite nice waterfall here. We heard it was typical to see some brown bears or grizzly here on the in the delta of the river, but unfortunately we didn't see any. But there's some seals over there, so we're going to check them out before we leave.
That was a really impressive and beautiful waterfall. There were several of them, like 3 or 4. But it hasn't been raining for a long time now, so I guess when there's been a lot of rain, I think these are even more powerful. And this is where the delta is. It's becoming high water now. It was much more visible before. They're like statues in the water.
Yeah, it doesn't look too comfortable being like bent like that.
17 degrees Celsius in the air and 13.6 in the water. Still don't feel like swimming. A lot of current here because there is a bar, so it gets pretty shallow. It goes from over 100 meters to about between 4 to 9, and so the current meets there and it gets strong. Just a minute ago we almost went sideways to the current.
It turns out that the current out here wasn't too bad at all. We have like 0.4, maybe 0.3 knots against us right now, so that's okay. And I have to say, so far in both Alaska and here in BC, it hasn't been a big problem with the tides at all, or the currents. I mean, of course, some areas you need to check, like we had a lot of current in Petersburg, going through the, what's the name, the Wrangell Narrows. And also, when we left Elfin Cove, there was an area with a lot of current. But apart from that, we haven't seen a lot of current. Even if we, at times, have left at the wrong time because we want to reach our destination sooner, it's been okay. Now, of course, there are certain areas that you need to be aware of the current, like areas where it's really narrow, but it's easy to see that on your charts and in the guidebooks. So if anyone is thinking of sailing up here, you shouldn't be deterred about the tides and the currents up here, because it's really not a problem at all. So, it's just a beautiful area, both Alaska and here in BC, so nice cruising routes.
Varsågod.
Tackar. Pretty good. That was a nice dessert.
It is. I just put some bananas in the pan with a little bit of maple syrup, and before that I dry roasted almonds, and then just put a little bit of dry coconut on top and cinnamon, and that's it. Healthy but super delicious dessert.
Died again. There's a rock here called Ohio Rock. You shouldn't cut the corner here, because there was the rock is named after a vessel that ran aground on that rock. Mary Cove lies next to Queen Charlotte Channel. It's a small cove, tucked in between green hills and mountains. It's so easy to find sheltered anchorages up here, and you tend to forget the many open and rolly anchorages we've experienced in the past.
Watching the salmon jumping over there. It's probably the female that want to shake their eggs. That's what they do. They want the eggs out, so they jump and splash in the water. Such a beautiful morning. We're heading in on Jackson Passage right now.
It's a pretty narrow place we're coming into over here. And it's at low tide we couldn't come through, so and it's about mid-tide soon. But still, it looks really narrow. I think it's maybe a couple of boat lengths wide, and maybe we'll have a meter under the keel. Nej, det verkar vara slack.
Okej, sväng till höger nu. Lite grann. Håll nu mot den stenen där. Som är framför fören.
Okay.
Håll kurs mot den. I can see the bottom. We have kelp, a lot of kelp, and here's some current. Can you feel the current?
Yeah, a bit.
What? On the chart?
Yeah, now it's getting deeper again.
Ooh.
Now it's 2.5. Jackson arrows. Alright, I think we're through.
Yeah. Great. Talk about some bad timing.
Yeah, it's just incredible. The tooth belt for the alternator and the coolant pump just broke. So the engine, just overheated a bit. Or the alarm went off. So now we're going to change this, and we're in the middle of this channel. But it's alright, I have a spare one, so.
We're in the middle of rocks, and it looks like this. So the yellow are land. The yellow parts are land, the blue are very shallow water, and the green is above water during low tide. So at the moment we're just drifting here. I'm looking at the chart so we don't drift too much in the wrong direction, and trying to compensate a little bit with the wheel. Everything went so smooth. And just all of a sudden, it didn't. Start smelling some smoke coming from the engine, and everything happened at once.
Yeah, so now that is solved. Stuff like that has a tendency to happen when you least want it. Of course we could have hoisted the sails and sailed in here, but it's pretty narrow and a lot of current, so you want to have the engine. It's a bit strange. Since we arrived to Alaska, 2 of these belts have snapped for us. That's just too much. So there must be something. Either it's the belts that are old and a bit brittle in the rubber, or it's something on the belts or the wheels on the engine. So I have to check those, because that's just too much. So we'll see. But the only problem now is that we don't have any more spares. That was the last one. It was time for another try on the outboard engine. And as always, it was the carburetor that was causing the problem. After cleaning out some stale fuel, it was running again. No.
Hur går det?
Det har tagit slut. Det var inget varmvatten.
Är det kallt?
Allt slut.
Är det kallt?
Det är någon som har diskat upp allt.
Var det kallt vatten, Johan?
Lite.
Jag hörde dig skrika.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you next week.